Hi, it's Felicia Slattery and Sadie the Speaker Dog. Right in time. So we'll hopefully that her bone holds out, but just in case it doesn't, I'll put myself on mute. And I'm here today for, she's going to go and she's going to go. We're going to do a blab. And I'm here with two of some awesome guests, Alfred Poor and Phaedra. And while that's happening, why don't you both introduce yourself? Alfred, say hi to the people. So I'm going to go take care of that again.
Hello, everybody. I'm a speaker and a writer, and have had the pleasure of not having a real job in over 34 years or so. So, no visible means of support. And along the way, I've been able to do a whole lot of wonderful things, a lot of technology writing, wrote for PC Magazine for more than 20 years. And along the way, picked up a whole lot of really useful skills as far as I'm concerned. Know a lot about technology, or at least enough to be dangerous. But also along the way, working with publications, got to pick up a lot of skills about publication design and what works, and some things that translate to things that solopreneurs and speakers like me can use for skills like one sheets. So that's a setup for the talk today. Phaedra, how about you?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm known in pop culture as America's crisis coach. That means that I come alongside people who are going through the worst times of their lives. So I deal in some pretty dark matter. I'm an author, a speaker, and I have written about 100 columns for answers.com. I am a rabid fan of the speaker sheets, and is probably one of the reasons that Felicia recruited me, because I use them in very non-traditional ways. I love them. I love everything about them. So I'm thrilled to be here talking about them today.
You're still muted, Felicia. There we go. That technology
Someday,
stuff.
When I have a house again, she'll have her own special quiet place, and I'll have my own special quiet place. Good gravy. All right. It's a friendly crowd. All right. So here we go. So you both introduced yourselves, right? That's what I missed. And you said hi, and that's that. All right. Awesome. All right. So first of all, for people who aren't totally sure what we're talking about a speaker one sheet. And a speaker one sheet is very simply a flyer. That's it. It's a marketing flyer, and it's a fancy term that people who are professional speakers, that means who get paid to show up, use as a way to market themselves and get more gigs. That's basically it, okay? And so there's a lot of different ways that you can use those. In fact, I'm doing a webinar on Thursday training all about that. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And so Alfred and Phaedra are my power users. And what do I mean by that is that they've taken these one sheets and they've just done some really cool things with them, and they've gone above and beyond just the one speaker one sheet with just their name at the top and the one picture and a description. And so they've got different one sheets for different purposes. And I thought I would just have them share with you a little bit about how they've been using them. So Alfred, do you have one handy and want to talk about the story about how you used one and all that jazz? Because it's pretty cool.
Sure. So this is one of them. Hold it still. And this is one that I created using Felicia's template. And there are a bunch of things about this template that I really, really like, that I think are very important. One of the things to keep in mind about meeting planners is that they're risk averse, right? I mean, they're putting their reputation on the line every time they put somebody up on stage, and they don't get a second chance. It's not like you can change the channel. It's they're stuck with you once you get up there. So they want to be convinced that they're not taking a major chance on you. And one of the things that I think a lot of speakers overlook is that mindset that they have for the meeting planners. You're really addressing the meeting planner, not the audience with your one sheet. And so for me, one of the most important parts is over here, where you have the opportunity to put in testimonial quotes. And because that's the social proof that's going to make a huge difference in terms of convincing a meeting planner that somebody else has taken a chance on you and it's turned out well. So that's one of the features.
I see more social proof on there too. On the bottom, you've got that Channel 5 thing.
I stuck a little down here. I've got Channel 5. I've got U.S. News and World Report. I've got USA Today. And so those logos also provide some social proof, again, saying this is somebody with some legitimate credentials. And the other thing is I have a photo of me at a lectern at a Consumer Electronics Show. And this is a technology kind of topic. So people who are going to recognize this as being an important international event. And here I was, one of the speakers at that event. So that's going to carry some credibility as well.
Fantastic. All right. So can you talk, you were telling me a story not that long ago about how you used yours and actually helped you get on stage, right?
Well, a couple things. I mean, one of the things I love about the templates, I didn't print out all the different ones that I'm using, but I was actually picked up by a speakers bureau, and Sue Falcone of Simply Sue Speaks is on this call right now because I got some applause from her a little while ago. But so when I was creating my one sheets, she said, well, your one sheets are great, but can you put my contact information on them? And so it literally took me 3 minutes to go in, take out my contact information, put her contact information in, turn it into a PDF and send it off to her. I mean, there's no technical difficulty involved. It's just quickly done. And
so it helped you actually get a speakers bureau to represent you. Exactly.
Yep. So, because it's a nice, professional, good-looking one sheet, and presents me well. So, that definitely was a big help.
Awesome. All right. So thank you, Alfred. So Phaedra, do you have any of yours? You have one handy, don't you?
I did. I recently moved, so a lot of them are packed away. But I used one recently, and this is it. And I actually used it more of a sales page. I was asked to speak in the Bay Area very last minute, and I threw together an offer. And I used my speaker one sheet to do that. And it still had a lot of the valuable information, like you said, the social proof and quotes, and then also imagery. And I was able to customize it right then and there to fit that venue. And it made all the difference. I spoke to 130 people, and I had 35 people come and sign up for my offer. So that's a pretty good conversion.
Wow. And it was because you used your one sheet as a sales letter, so to speak, for people that were in the room.
Right.
That's
well,
cool.
My main thing is image. I'm a detail person. And if I can't go big, I tend to stay home. And my favorite thing about the sheets are they're idiot proof, because I'm not a techie and I don't like to waste money. And prior to the sheets, I would be hiring out somebody to do my layout, and it would be one and done. And I would be committed to that. And now I can go in, and I mean, this color scheme, just like Alfred's, I believe wasn't one of the templates, right? I literally was able to change everything about it to match my imagery and the feel and the look that I wanted. And I would have never thought I was capable, but you created a product that was so user-friendly and intuitive that I was sending it to you like, look what I did. Like, I'm so thrilled that I could do that. And the professionalism is just amazing. I just simply send my file to Staples, and I get high quality paper, and it's just ready when I get there for pennies. I mean, it's mind blowing, but I use them in so many different ways. When I just want to highlight my books, I had a really big event where I have a children's series, 3 books, and I wanted to give back to the community. So I had people come and buy the series, and they could donate it inside the community to agencies and things like that. And I used my one sheet to create the whole thing. And then I sent it to Staples and had it poster sized. And it became, a wonderful way to advertise and do that. And I could afford to do that. I could afford to give because I could, I didn't have to pay a designer to go in and make that product for me.
Yeah, you've done some cool things. I loved getting those emails from you, like, look at it, another one. Look at it, another one. It's like, those are so fun. I actually used mine last Christmas as my family's Christmas card, like the newsletter, because I don't like to write really long kinds of drawn out things. Just like a couple of highlights and things that are going on to talk about, the dog. Sweating here. Like, please stop. So I know. Go ahead and laugh at me. Thank you very much.
I'm going to clap.
Only a true friend would laugh. Only a true friend. But anyway, so I remember I was like, it was Christmas time and I was like, what am I going to do? And I was like looking online for Christmas card newsletter ideas, as we do, right? When we're trying to solve a problem, we like go to Google and type in, whatever the thing is, template or ideas or whatever. And I was looking and I came across a bunch of images that looked not like my templates, not exactly like them, but I looked at them and I was like, well, I could do that with one of my templates. And so I looked for it before, but we also just recently moved. And so I don't have one in front of me, but I did. It's on my blog at FeliciaSlattery.com/blog. So you can kind of go through there if you're interested to see how I use the one sheet template for my Christmas card. So they're very versatile. And like I said, they're a marketing flyer. But somebody had asked earlier, like, can I use these for local speaking? And I want to ask, have either of you used these for local speaking? Phaedra, you do a lot of local speaking, don't you?
I do. And I belong to a division of the Women's Speakers Association, and we meet once a month. And I oftentimes learn of speaking opportunities right then and there, and you got to jump on it. And I can literally go home, open up my file, tweak a couple of things, even if I do some reconnaissance and know that I need to tweak my title, my speech title, because the content is universal, but how we hook the people to book us, the hook to book, as I call it, is to make it really relevant to what they want. And I can just go in and tweak that on my own and, send that to them in a really powerful way. Plus, a lot of times they want to use their own advertising and they can literally just print out your flyer on their behalf. So yes, I use it for local gigs all the time. It's one of the things that makes it so worthwhile because I don't have to just give anything generic. I can be laser focused and really outshine the competition.
Yeah, I think that the ability of not having to go to somebody else to fix it, to make that change. I mean, you've got a day turnaround, if they drop everything and take care of you. Whereas here you can just go in a couple minutes and almost everybody, at least most speakers, know how to use PowerPoint, at least to the limited degree that is required for these. So it's really pretty easy to fix it and change it around and make the changes you want. This is another version, talking about local speaking. This is the one I showed before. This is for a completely different audience, completely different topic. This is about the wearable technology talk that I have. And I've given this a couple times locally within the last month or two. Couple groups over in New Jersey had me come in to speak. Actually, this was the wearables. This one is about my video marketing for small businesses. And one of the things
you have so many, you don't even know which one you're holding up.
I know, too many of them. But one of the things is,
that's awesome.
One of the cool things was, I was able to take the color out of my logo and match it. Mm-hmm. It made it very simple to pull that color and match it throughout. And so it goes with the book cover that I have and pulls it all together. Another thing I wanted to mention about these templates is I think they're really nicely designed. One of the things I talk about when I tell people about good document design, publication design, is I have what I call the dollar bill rule. If you shouldn't be able to take a dollar bill and put it anywhere on the page so that it only touches text. It should always touch something some graphic design, a subhead, a title, or something like that. So,
well, that's fancy. I never heard that before.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great rule, because otherwise you get big blocks of text that end up going gray and it's hard to read and people sort of shut down. So these are all the templates that you've got are really nicely designed to pass that test.
I would add,
well, of course, I didn't design them myself because I am not a graphic designer. So
you had brilliant input. The thing that I think is wonderful is they grow with you. So sometimes I want to highlight that I'm a speaker and an author, but sometimes I want to highlight the fact that I'm a coach or that I'm a consultant, and it's very easy for me to change my cachet. Sometimes I want people to know that I have a master's degree. Sometimes that's irrelevant or it could be a turnoff. So I can choose to have that information. As my social proof gets bigger and better, I can switch this out. You know, being on Huffington Post Live repeatedly is good, right? And being on local television in your area, over time, you know, you're going to get bigger and better gigs and you're going to want to switch that out. So the ability to be able to morph it over time, that is such a return on what is a teeny tiny investment. I mean, we've had that talk, Felicia. It's crazy how affordable those are. So I really, really like that part, that it can grow with you over time. And it's completely modular. I don't think this layout is a standard. I know this piece of it is, some of it are, and it looks like Alfred is really moved his modules around as well. And it's just drag and click and so simple. And literally, if you're worse than Phaedra with tech, then your VA or your assistant can do it. I mean, it's not like it has to be you, but the fact that it can be you, if it's 2 a.m. and you realize that what you printed out or had a flaw, you can fix it and you're going to show up and look professional and powerful. And that's going to turn into profit. So,
okay, so
okay, so you guys are awesome. I didn't really mean this to be like a testimonial video for the one sheets. But I know you guys love them, so because you're using them all the time. So we talked about some of the different ways that you're using them. Alfred, you jumped. I want to point out, Alfred is at the other end of the spectrum from you, Phaedra. Like Phaedra couldn't be less techie. Alfred couldn't be more. Alfred was a writer, and were you an editor for PC World magazine?
No, just a writer, contributing editor.
No, just a writer. Excuse me.
I was a contributing editor. I was their first lead analyst on business displays. Yeah, I'm kind of got the techie cred here. Well, here's I don't know if you can see it reflected in my glasses, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 screens up all at once on my yeah. So.
Yeah, I can see them I can see them behind you in your cool reflection back there. Yeah, I know. We talked not too long ago, and I was like, so how many screens do you have open? Like 17? And you go, well, 4. I was like, oh, okay, just 4. I'm lucky to have the 1, and the dog's excited still.
So I didn't print out before we started. I didn't print out one of my other one sheets that I did with you, but it's so easy. I just printed one out while we were just talking. So I wanted to show this one because this is a different layout, and the thing I love about this one, I wanted to print it out, Phaedra, because you said you wanted to have a different persona, or depends on what market you're reaching. And so the thing I love about this is sort of what I think of as the fortune teller gallery. Fortune telling works because people identify with the parts you get right and they ignore the parts you get wrong. Well, I've got 4 chances for somebody to look at this and say, oh, I identify with that. That's the kind of guy we want. Right. And so for me, this one was the first one I did using the templates, and it took me about 45 minutes to do. And the main reason it took me so long was just simply going through my hard drive and trying to find the right photographs and scaling them and getting them to work right. So, and it wasn't the labor of working with the layout. It was just getting the pieces and assembling them. But yeah, I think it's, works out great.
Yeah. I want to talk about that for a second, because one of the elements that you need on your one sheet, obviously you need a photograph of you. And some of the one sheets are designed very specifically so that for people who maybe don't have a ton of pictures of themselves on stage yet, or don't have, they've got the one really great headshot. So it's designed for that. But then there's a couple other ones that you can put that are designed to have a book in there. But you could have one of a headshot, and you could have one of you on stage, or one of you shaking hands with somebody who's notable in the industry or whatever. And the reason that the photos matter, like Alfred, you just pointed out, which triggered for me, is that the folks can look at those pictures who's getting that one sheet, and they can say, oh, look, he's the kind of guy that I want to associate with, whether he's the kind of guy I want to hire to be a speaker, or he's the kind of guy that I want to be my coach or my consultant, or he's the kind of guy who's been in places where I want to be. And so the image that you select is very important in terms of communicating the full message of who you are as in your business. And we're talking about them as speaker one sheet. So as a speaker, right? And it's that can be like 45. I love that you said 45 minutes. It took so long. Right. But taking that time to look through and really analyze your images and say, okay, so what am I going to do specifically with this photo, and what's the message that I want it to send? Because Phaedra, you look at her, look, she's beautiful, all about image and how she shows up. And not everybody is always thinking about, like, how am I showing up? Oh, I'll just throw this picture on there. Really think about it. So a couple people, by the way, Diva Style Coach, thank you so much, just invested in one of the templates. So by the way, if you want to get one of the templates, you go here, speakeronesheettemplates.com. But if you decide to invest in one, or if you just hire somebody to design your own, which is fine, you'll pay hundreds of dollars and take lots and lots of time, but whatever. Readers like, don't do that. Just think about that image that you put on there. And it's real easy with the templates, because you're just going to right click and change picture. And that's it. And then pick the image that you want to use that's going to best represent how you want to show up. How do you want to show up to the person that's going to be receiving that? And the cool thing I think about these particular templates is that you can change your image depending on who you're sending it to. So in some cases, actually, I've used another way I've used it. Phaedra, have you done this? Because you've been on TV and in media a bunch. Is I've used it as a segment proposal for podcasts and for TV programming and for radio shows. And so I have a screen capture of me for when I was clearly sitting on a TV set being interviewed, right? And so I will use that screen grab, which in terms of photographic quality is kind of but it communicates the exact message that I needed to communicate. Have you used it for any of those things, Phaedra?
Yeah, I've used it to pitch. I get calls sometimes from Huffington Post, and they've got multiple segments, and it's just easy to go in and grab it because it saves me time. Everything's already formatted. I've saved it, and I have a few different templates that have different looks. That is a heck of a lot of a time saving versus going in and creating a new document to send to them. So it is definitely something I've done for pitching.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, any last tips, on how, like a secret to using your one sheet that might be able to help somebody else use it to get more business, whatever kind of business. Alfred, what do you think?
Well, the one thing I want to mention is the question that I get a lot of the times is, what do I do? How do I fit everything on the page? And the short answer is you don't. You've got to be ruthless, right? You've got to leave most of it off. Again, you've got to think of the meeting planner or the program producer or whoever it is that you're trying to convince. They have very little time, and they don't want to read anything that's not on target. So keep it all simple and direct and specific. Be as specific as you can. But one of the things that I always have to mention is, and make sure you have the basics, like your name. Make sure your name's on there.
Yeah.
And if you have a tagline, then make sure your tagline's on it, or your logo, or your logo type, or whatever it is. And then the second thing that's most important is your contact information. How are they going to get in touch with you? And so make sure you have your email and make sure you have a phone number. You can put other things on there beyond that, your social media connections, your website, and so forth. But, it's funny. I look at a lot of one sheets, and it's, sometimes you have to go poking around and, how do I reach this person? How do I contact them? Who do I call if I want to book them? And it's hidden away someplace. So these are the things that are most important that you have to make sure are right front and center, easy to find, logical place where people are going to find it.
Yep. Okay. And where can people find out more about you, Alfred?
I have a bunch of different places and things that I talk about, but a good entry point is alfredpoorspeaker.com. That's about the college and career skills success programs that I have, high school, college, and recent graduates. I'm very concerned about the problems our young people are having in the workplace after graduation due to a lack of the soft career skills. And I have a number of programs that I have about that. So you'll find that more about that at alfredpoorspeaker.com.
Yay. Thank you. All right. So you've had a minute to think about what your final tip of the day is going to be, and then you could share where people can hear more about you.
Sure. I wanted to just piggyback on what Alfred said too. The benefit of the speaker sheet is we all think our design is great, and then we send it off, and then we come back and maybe get some feedback that, I couldn't tell where to find you, or I couldn't see this clearly. And with the speaker sheet, the way it's designed, that's an easy fix. So you aren't as taking such a huge risk. So I just wanted to add that to what he said. My 2 cents is that it is so incredibly competitive. And if you want to get paid for speaking, if you want to be selected, even for back of the room sales after your speaking event, highly competitive. And this is your calling card. This is the first experience sometimes that people have with you. And like it or not, if you show up powerfully from the beginning, you have an advantage. And this is just one way to maximize every avenue you have to show up powerfully. So getting those professional headshots, do not put a selfie picture into your one sheet, right? A screen grab because you're on a television set, that's actually cool. That's like behind the scenes look. But you want to get a professional headshot. You want to pay attention to your imagery and that it is consistent and concise, knowing that, the eye looks left, those sorts of things. That is going to set you apart in a pile of speaker sheets. So that's my 2 cents. You can find out more about me from americascrisiscoach.com. If you are going through the worst time of your life, I can come alongside you and help it suck less. So thank you for having me here today, Felicia.
Thank you so much for being here. Sadie was so excited you all joined us. All right. So, if you're looking for them, speakeronesheettemplates.com. Okay, and then this Thursday, if you want to learn more, I'm actually doing a webinar without the dog in the background. No, really, I am. And you can sign up for that right here. It's FeliciaSlattery.com/one sheet webinar. It's abbreviated OS webinar, FeliciaSlattery.com OS webinar. And if you're already a subscriber of mine, I'll be sending that to you. If you're following me on social media, you'll see it. But if you want to opt into that right now, go for it. My assistant's been Skyping me as we've been talking. And so the opt-in may be working, might be. So that would be cool if it was. So give it a try. We'll see about how that works. Does anybody else have any questions for either of our guests or me? We've seen a lot of props that have gone by. And if you're new to Blab and you're wondering, like, what are all the like bobbleheads going up next to people's faces, if you tap on the screen on their picture, those little clapping hands, that's like giving them applause. They call it giving props. So if you thought they did a great job, give them some props today. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you so much for that. All right, any more questions from anybody else before I go save my dog from herself in the squirrel land and the force, because apparently there's a disturbance. I have to go deal with that.
Thanks so much for putting this together, Felicia.
Yeah, thanks for being here, and thanks for everybody for your patience with the noise in the background. And I'm going to apparently hire a dog trainer. Does anybody know a good one?
I took mine to my daughter's house.
Oh, I wish I could do that. I need to do that. All right.
We need to live closer together, and we could swap dog sitting.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to do something dangerous. I'm going to unlock this, the seat. So if anybody who's got a webcam wants to come on and say hi, if you have a question about Speaker One Sheets, I am going to be tight on this. So it's not for you to come on and mark it yourself, right? So, or your thing. And Shell wants to come on. Shell Horowitz. I know I can trust Shell. Hey, Shell, you're coming in. I'm going to follow you here. I'm going to click that. So if you're not following Shell yet, you can just click his little thing, and he's trying to work his way into the, I gave you permission, so we're just going to wait for his line to connect. And Shell Horowitz is a fantastic guy, talks about green marketing. Hey, here he is. Hi, Shell.
Hi, Shell.
Hi, Phaedra. Nice to meet you. Hi, Alfred.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So I was really interested, as someone who's always accused of putting way too many words on a page. Alfred, yeah, you've got a lot of graphic elements in there, but you've got a lot of words too. And I'm wondering how it's been received, because people are always telling me to dumb it down, and I always resist.
Well, I mean, compared to the average.
Okay, wait. Before Alfred says anything, I'm going to brag on him because he doesn't like to do it. So Alfred has a PhD from Harvard. I'm just throwing that out there.
No, it's not from Harvard.
And he doesn't dumb stuff down. He's embarrassed now. He's hiding behind his one sheet. Stop. So he's not a guy who does that. So now in that context, go ahead, Alfred, answer.
Just to be clear, there is the PhD and there is the Harvard, but they're not together.
Oh, I apologize. I'm okay. So sorry. I'm totally wrong.
No problem. There's no problem. Compared to a lot of one sheet Shell, this has got about half the text that some do. The text is fairly large. And one of the key things for me is that I like bullet point outcomes. Mm-hmm. So and where they say specifically, these are the takeaways. Not this is a motivational speaker who's going to have everybody cheering and smiling and crying when they leave. No, they're going to learn how to deal with this problem. They're going to have this skill. They're going to, and I think if you can't boil your speech down into 3 or 4 of those points, then you need to do some more whittling.
Right. It was more the other sheet that I was talking about, the one that had all the blue bubbles. Yeah.
This one's pretty much about the same. I mean, this is a fair amount of text up here. I agree with that. But it's still it's still probably at least 11 point text. It's not as small as it might appear on the screen.
Yeah, on my laptop you get all of 1.5 inches. Yeah, but I'll keep this in mind. I'm redoing my as Guerrilla Marketing to Heal the World is getting ready to come out. I'm working on all my materials.
So it's not all that small.
Keep in mind, less about you, more about the person looking at it or the audience. We tend to want to focus on, well, this is what I can bring to the table, and this is my background, and this is my experience, and love me. Because they should, right? I mean, why wouldn't they love you? But they're not reading it from that perspective. They're reading it from, okay, what is my audience going to get, or what am I going to get from this thing? It depends on what you're using it for, right? So if you're using it to talk about your book, then what's the reader of the book going to get out of it? And are they going to be, like, what's the purpose of the one sheet? Are you trying to get in front of an audience to talk about the book? Then what's the information in the book that's going to be useful for the audience? If you think of it like almost like a sales page, it really, it's way more about the user, the reader, than it is about you. And so in that instance, it's a little bit easier to kind of pull back. And then you've got your URL on there, so they can learn more about Shell and see some videos, et cetera. I mean, definitely my last tip. My one tip would be make sure you've got a call to action on there. The way that my one sheets are designed is there's room for your phone number, there's room for your social media, there's room for your URL, and I would add something in your bio section or somewhere on the bottom, for booking information, please contact. It says it on there, but some people delete that out of there because you can delete anything off of mine. So just a reminder, you absolutely, on every marketing material that you have, some kind of call to action. And even on a one sheet, what do you want them to do now that I'm looking at this one sheet? Now what, right? So, and your call to action could be, learn more about Shell and then your website where they can, then they, you get as many words as you want because it's the internet.
Yeah, and I would add, I think of my one sheet like a party invitation. So I want people to want to come to my party. And if I'm a booker, someone booking speakers, I want to know that this person has charisma. They're not going to put my audience to sleep, that, you know, it's going to be a great fit, and I'm going to look good to my bosses. So if you send out, you know, a crap invitation, chances are people aren't going to come to your party. But if you pay attention to the sound bites you're putting out there in your text and the imagery that you're using and that consistency, and it pops, that is going to be a win, because as soon as you show up and show up powerfully, then you're going to get tons of referrals, and it's just going to spiral from there.
Yep.
Thanks, folks. I'll step off and let somebody else have a turn.
Okay. Thanks, Shell. Bye. All right. So does anybody else have a question or want to pop on screen? I'm going to be quick with the X button in case there's any weirdness, because that could happen. But it looks like we have mostly my people, so it's a friendly crowd.
Gerald says,
and Phaedra, what was your URL again, so I can type that in there?
Mine? Yeah, it's americascrisiscoach.com. And shout out to Gerald for that nice compliment.
I know. Well, you are enthusiastic and charisma. You're awesome. All right. So we don't have any. Gerald's coming in. Go ahead, Alfred, while Gerald's coming in.
While we're waiting for Gerald to come in, on Shell's thing about having too much to say, I've been edited by the best in the business over the years. And the one phrase comes to mind: when in doubt, leave it out. Mm-hmm. If you take something out and you haven't lost meaning, then let it go.
For sure. Fantastic. All right, that's a good writing tip. And Alfred has been a freelance writer for 30 plus years, so he knows a little bit about writing. All right, Gerald, well, welcome. How are you today?
I am fantabulous. Thank you, Felicia. How are you all? It's good to meet you guys. And I just dropped in. I just got out of a sales meeting, and I said, wow, Speaker One Sheet's never heard of this. I just wanted to commend you on. I just looked at the website. It's a great thing. How long have you been doing this? And for the one sheets and things of that nature, how?
I've been teaching speakers since I don't know, for about 20 years. I've been teaching speaking of all kinds, and the one sheets are just about a year old, so they're they're still modern and up to date on the designs of them, which obviously you saw since you went to the site. But so I've been teaching lots of folks about how they get booked to get to speak. I actually have a book. I'm looking for it. 21 Ways to Make Money Speaking. Where is it? So this is one of my books, and this book is about 3 years old now, 3.5 years old, on its way to 4 years. So if you're interested in that, you can pick it up at anywhere fine books are sold. But 21 Ways to Make Money Speaking is the book. So that's what I do with folks, is I help them get booked and all kinds of stuff.
Hey, Felicia, you got a great question over here in the chat.
Okay.
Rev Rat is saying, what's an alternative if you don't have enough quality pictures?
Pay for a professional photographer to get a picture. I mean, that's honest to goodness. I mean, wouldn't you say that, Phaedra?
I would, and I would say you don't have to go into high-end debt. There's lots of ways. The main thing that I would say is really be strategic about what you wear. Don't wear a scarf, and you want something that is all season. You want something that is putting you in the best light, and that is true to your brand. There's nothing worse than incongruence. Your imagery looks one way and you show up another. That is a huge turnoff. So make sure that you're showing up who you are.
Yeah, and you want to make sure that your image, your photo that you're using on your one sheets, please make it current. Because the last thing a meeting planner wants is to see your glamour shot from the 1980s, and then you show up looking like yourself with different hair color, different hairstyle, or less hair. We'll just say, guys, I know. Right? Like, you need to keep it current for how you look today. Alfred, what do you want to say?
Well, I was going to say,
I saw like 5 thoughts go through your mind when I said different hair, less hair.
Some people I know operate on a very thin budget.
Yes.
says, if you can't afford a professional headshot, you can't afford to be a speaker. Well,
I don't agree.
I think that's
I don't agree with that either.
That's going a little bit far. Go to your local high school. Go to your local community college. They're going to have photography departments.
And even on Facebook, you'll see your friends who just dabble and love it, and they would love the opportunity to try things out. I'm an amateur photographer and didn't do anything for years. And with Facebook, I put my stuff up there. People are like, dang, girl. So there are people out there who will gladly help you.
Yeah, and even with the iPhones and things of that nature, they have great cameras. You can have a friend just hold the camera and take a shot of you.
But you need to pay attention to the things that make a picture good.
That's why
I'm just using natural lighting here, but the lighting that I've got is really good because I've got bright from this side, but I've got a good fill back here on the other side, and it's that kind of thing that people who just take snapshots don't look for, but people who have a good eye for photography see that. The only other thing I was going to mention about the dress for your photograph is try to avoid patterns. Wear solid colors. Because when you start changing resolutions and printing it out on different kinds of devices or using it on the web, you can get moire patterns in those checks and stripes and things. And also the checks and stripes can be distracting. So you'll notice that today I'm wearing, solid colors.
Another thing that I suggest, if you're going to invest in having pictures done, make sure that the photographer saves them in different formats. So you can use them on the web, you can use them in print. I've had people make that mistake and not have them saved. Have them saved in the cloud. Don't save them just on your desktop or in your thumb drive. If your house burns down, whatever, make sure they're up in storage. And absolutely anything that you can do to set yourself apart. I'm always about the necklace. It's either iced tea or the necklace. That starts name recognition or brand recognition. Really, really subtle, really, really powerful.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Yay. I love the great tips. Gerald, is there anything else you wanted to say, add, or ask?
No, I would say my question was going to be, what would you guys one tip be for speakers that are somewhat just getting started?
Oh, I have a big one.
Okay.
If you're just getting started,
go ahead. You do yours.
If you're just getting started, go out and speak not to your target audience. Go out and speak to people who have nothing really for what you want to speak about, because you can make your mistakes and you can learn and you can get your feedback and hone your skill sets before you are in front of the people that you
And I would add patience. I have had the good fortune of making a wonderful career as a freelance writer, which is something that lots of people want to do and few people get the opportunity to do. And I know how hard it is to break into that, and breaking into speaking is pretty much the same game. It's not that people fail at it. It's just they give up. And it takes time to, tend the fields and put the effort in and make it happen. So don't be discouraged, but just know, it just doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely true. And what I would throw in is that speaking begets speaking. So if you want to speak, then speak. It doesn't matter where you're speaking. It doesn't matter in the very beginning. It doesn't matter if you're getting paid. Just go. In fact, my signature speech wizard, actually helps you write the speech. I've got a whole training at signaturespeech.com that will take you through the steps of how do you market yourself, even if you're a speaker, by speaking for free. Because there are a few things that you need that if you haven't started yet, you got to get one way, shape, or form. So Alfred was showing on his, if you hold up the one with the testimonials on the side, you need to get testimonials. You need to have testimonials from audience members that say, hey, this guy was great. You need a testimonial from meeting planners that say, wow, this person was so easy to work with, and my audience loved them. You need those kinds of testimonials. If you don't have one, speaking for free, you can get those. You need to have, ideally, you want an image of you. Thanks, Alfred. You want to have an image of you in front of an audience. Why? Well, because of something Alfred was talking about earlier. A meeting planner needs to know this is not your first go-round. This is not your first time in front of other human beings standing up there with a microphone, like like they don't want that. So they want to see you in front of people, right? Thank you for laughing. But look, we got our Yetis, we got our yay, Team Yeti. Go baby. So you want to have an image of you on stage, and that doesn't have to necessarily be professional. That could be a friend or family member, or even just, the meeting planner. You give them your phone and go, hey, would you snap a picture of me from behind the audience? So that there's like, oh, look, there's all these people looking at you. So having an image like that somewhere, that's important. You want video of you on stage. Alfred, go.
The real money shot of that behind you is when the audience is smiling, they have their hands up, they're reacting to you. Just having the audience.
So 2 shots. Yeah, one from behind you where you can't see your whole face, but maybe they see your profile, or like it's clear that it's you, and the audience is smiling or laughing. And then one from behind the audience where they're all looking forward at you, and there's all these heads looking at you. So 2 audience shots. You want to have. So we talked about testimonials. We talked about images. We talked about. And then any kind of promo that gets done, you can include that in your marketing as well. So, we and like URLs or not URLs, logos. That's the fancy word I was looking for. Logos of the groups that have had you come and speak. That's more social proof that we talked about a little bit earlier. That's more evidence that, oh, okay, you've been to these places, you've spoken to these groups. And the one sheets that I have, actually, there's a place on every single one of them for you to include logos, or like whether they're media logos because you've been in the media, or they're, see down there on the bottom of that one with Phaedra, or they're logos of organizations that you've spoken for, or your memberships. If you're if you're a member of Toastmasters, well, that says that that you've spoken in front of people before. Any evidence that says, yes, I've been in front of people before. And obviously I like one of these goes without saying things, but I'm going to say it, like all of it needs to be true. We don't want to make anything up. We don't want to just like grab logos from the internet. Like, don't be doing that. You don't want like fake logos that you buy on Fiverr. Good gravy. Don't do that. But they need to be real stuff. And the more real evidence that you have on your one sheet, on your sales pages, on your websites, on your business, even on your business cards. You could put stuff on your I got brand new business cards because I moved. You could put stuff like that on your business cards. All of these pieces say, I'm a professional. And that's you want to start building your professional persona. And then the last thing that I would say, and we're gonna start to run out of time here, but the last thing I would say is know who you're talking to, because everybody or anybody with ears is not an audience, right? You need to know who can you best serve, who's your ideal audience. And then everything that you write, everything that you prepare, your one sheets, your websites, your business cards, your brochures, everything is for those people. There you go.
All right. That was awesome. I just really wanted to get on and be able to thank you for putting this platform together and actually get to meet you, Alfred and Phaedra. This was phenomenal. And look forward to seeing you guys again, hopefully very soon.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. If anybody else would like to join in, feel free. We've got one open seat. Happy Dance Farm says, in the past, I produced events all over America and Europe. One thing we always needed was speakers to fill time slots between some of the more established presenters. These sheets would be a great means to get yourself an opportunity to begin speaking as well. Yes. So very often, large events will have New York Times bestselling authors as keynote speakers, or they'll have very well-known people in their industry, or even celebrity kind of folks. And those people are the draw to the event. If you're just getting started, or you're, dug deep in a niche and you know your thing really well, but you're not very well known yet, how you get on those stages is you be one of, they're called breakouts. And it's actually way number 2 in 21 Ways to Make Money Speaking. But that's a breakout presenter. So you're a breakout session in between the well-known keynote speakers at the front end. Usually there's an opening keynote and a closing keynote. Some of them have an opening and a closing every day. Some of them have an opening at the beginning of a conference and at the end of a conference. So yeah, if you want to get booked that way, having professional materials and showing up as a professional says, yes, I deserve to be standing on the same stage as these people. All right. So I don't see anybody else wanting to join us. And I'm looking through. Let me see if there's any more questions that have come in. Where can we get your book, Felicia? Anywhere fine books are sold. You can get it at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, wherever at local bookstores. If they don't have it, ask them for it by name and they'll order it for you. So you can get that. This Thursday, I'm doing a webinar, FeliciaSlattery.com/OS webinar. That stands for One Sheet Webinar. We're going to dig deeper into these one sheets and give you some notes to take and that kind of thing. So it's official training. I just want to say thank you so much.
I thought that was about operating systems. OS webinar.
Stop. See, Mr. Techie. Mr. Techie would say that. All right, so folks, if you found some value in Phaedra and Alfred being here today, give them some props. I'd love to see the, just tap on their faces, tap on their screen, and say thank you to them for being here. If you thought I did not such a bad job in moderating, the dog finally realized I was not going to let her out of my bedroom where she loves to be. Good gravy. Oh, I stayed sort. I had a little bit of grace under pressure some of the time. So if you thought that was good, you can give me some props. Thank you for that. I see Jeff Herring's head a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jeff Herring's head. All right. And so Thursday, I will see you then. And you should be subscribed here, FeliciaSlattery.com/OS webinar. And follow me on social media because I'll be doing a blab a week every Tuesday at noon, announcing upcoming cool stuff and having cool guests just like these awesome two people. Where there they are. So thanks for being here. I'm going to go off the record right now. And I have oh, wait. Where's the sign up link for your Thursday call? All right. I'm going to put the link in the bottom here. It is www. I can't talk and type at the same time. Can anybody else talk and type at the same time? I can't.
I can't.
There it is. All right, so there's the link. Thank you, Shell, for asking. You can click that link. No, not me. You can't talk and type. I can type and chew gum, but I don't like to chew a lot of gum because it hurts my jaw, and I talk a lot, so I end up with a headache. And I can do a lot and talk at the same time, but not talking right. So, all right, there's my things. So bad for your teeth. I know it is bad for your teeth. So well, thanks for being here.
I type and walk at the same time.
Wow.
I know you do. Well, he's standing right now on a treadmill.
I'm standing on my treadmill desk.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's got a treadmill desk. Yeah.
I can eat right.
Yes, that's the PhD. He's talented.
I eat right a lot.
Hey, everybody got over 1,000 loves. Thank you for that, crew. All right, so we're going to take off now. And thanks again for being here. And I will see you Thursday at the webinar and next Tuesday on the Blabs.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.
You just hit the little X to go out.